So today we're going to do a fun merch shop audit of the Coachella online store. And this will be a great store to review and audit for people that have multiple things and kind of a conglomerate of things to sell, because that's what Coachella is, right? And so they take a bunch of the artists that have their own merch as well, I'm sure. So this is something good for if you have some kind of store that's similar. And so let's go ahead and take a look. A Coachella store. Okay, so they do a subdomain, right? shop.coachella.com. And again, that's always, I prefer the word shop over the word store. Shop is more friendly in terms of shopping and just, it's a more friendly term than the word store, in my opinion. And so you can use either one, but if you're starting out brand new and you're deciding on which way to go, I would suggest you use the word shop. So let's look into this. I like the picture. Fun fact, I believe this is in Indio, California, but I know this where that, I don't know if it's a building or a structure, or I think it's a little building you can actually go inside with that colorful building right here. But we went there, not for Coachella, but to play MLS Next Fest. And so MLS Next Fest was at this same park. That was a fun experience. And, you know, it's a big field. It's very nice. The grass is really nice there. Of course, we didn't win any games, but, you know, MLS Next Fest is more for showcase your soccer skills rather than trying to win games. And we were already in a lower bracket anyway. So anyway, let's get back to this merch shop audit here. So I like the top of the top banner here, Amex shop. We'll have to look at that later. Amex card members visit and shop the Coachella Amex shop for the merchandise collection plus. Okay, so they must have a deal with Amex, American Express, which is good. So let's keep scrolling down here. Shop the full 2026 Coachella merch. And so I figure, again, this is completely raw. I haven't been on this site before, but I figured they would also include their artists' merch as well, or some kind of collab with the artist, but maybe not. They have outerwear, t-shirts. Let's just start clicking into this. So the Felt Cute 2026 lineup tee, $45. It's probably looks like probably gonna be a cotton. And so, all right, this is what I was talking about earlier. The people that do the printing and the people that actually probably design and do the virtual mock-ups that go on the store are probably not the same people, because as you can see, this left chest print appears to be really low. And so, you know, when you print, we wouldn't put the left chest print that low. And so again, it's if you're running your own clothing brand and you're maybe using AI to generate your online store images, just make sure that it's placed a little bit better. And so this is a nice shirt. Besides that, it's a pretty cool shirt, pretty cool design. Just names all the artists. Heavyweight vintage, so it's probably going to be a 6 or 7 ounce. It's on a Bella and canvas, so yeah, it's probably be a 6 ounce. Cotton. So they actually go all out here. Normally you're printing on like a Gildan or a Hanes or jerseys, or even Important Company or something like that. Maybe what's that one called? It's not a direct tee. I forget what it's called, but I know what the style number is. But it's a good tee that a lot of clothing brands use. But anyway, if you want to go up to this level, this is good. Bella and canvas. It's going to be a more premium quality shirt. The print is also better, we find, for Bella and canvas. And Bella and canvas, next level. I really like Bella and canvas. I think if you're going to run a high-end, graphic tee merch shop, Bella and canvas is the way to go. So that is good. They give you the sizing here, which is nice. Or is that the sizing? I'm not sure. Let's click on it. Yeah, they give you the sizing here, which is good. And so that way you can't say, hey, I didn't know what the sizing was. So this is exactly what I was talking about earlier with fulfillment. Now, this obviously did well. Like I said, it's a cool T-shirt. But they offer small through doubles, but they're small, medium, large, XLs are all sold out. So now they're doing doubles. And I understand Coachella is a one-time thing, so they probably took their merch with them to sell there. Again, I didn't go. I don't know. But I can only assume that they took a bunch of merch down there to sell on site. And now maybe they probably sold out of small through XLs, and now they just have doubles available. But in this case, this is a little different. As you know, I usually say to do POD, do print on demand, do DTG, direct to garment, when you're starting out or testing a new design. But in this case, they had to do screen printing because, for one, it's a lot of colors. So you're not going to set up the screen printing press for this amount of colors to around 100 shirts. They're probably printing 2, 3, 4,000 of them. And so, they did the right thing by screen printing it. And I'm happy that they sold out, right? So they obviously did better than what they expected to do because they sold out of small through XLs. And so all they have is doubles left, and they can't find anyone that's double to purchase this shirt. But $45, that's a pretty good price. Bell and canvas, they can justify that. Plus, it's a lot of colors. So, good deal. Coachella pastels, pressed flowers, lineup tee. Again, different. So this one obviously didn't probably do as well because they have small through 3X available. They didn't sell out of this. And again, they probably still screen printed this as well. So this is a Bell and Canvas heavyweight. So it's going to be the same tee. Bell and Canvas. Yeah, so this is good, $45. Again, good price or justifiable price for what it is. Fruta Picata tee. Again, this is a lot of colors too. So the little here, look, the left chest, little low. The left chest should be a little bit more up here rather than way down here. So I guarantee you, I'm sure they used a professional screen printer. So I guarantee you that it's not that low on the actual shirt. Maybe they have a picture of the actual shirt. It's hard to tell here, but yeah, it looks like it's a higher print than here. Yeah. So yeah, and I like that they have a lot of different variations, product image variations. So they show the flat, they call it flat when there's not a model involved and it's just a picture on just the t-shirt itself or the hoodie itself. That's called a flat image. And so they have a lot of flat images here. They have a lot of pictures of it, maybe artistic type style with it hanging from the tree. I like the blurs here. That's good. And then the sizing chart is next. So this one, as you can see, sold out as small through large. And so they have is XL, doubles, and triples. And so this is they had to have screen printed all these, and they probably were just guessing. I don't know if they would have done the same amount for each tee. That's usually what happens. Usually you just print, let's say, 3,000 tees total. And then you just say, hey, I want, and they have to know for one, they have to know their sales from previous years. And so they can go based on sales from previous years, how many smalls they need, how many mediums, how many larges. And that's a good way to base your stuff on. But if you don't, you have to think of the people that are coming. A lot of females, a lot of just people that are coming are going to be a little bit on the smaller side. So I can see why small through large has sold out. Okay, so let's get into hoodies. If they're using Bell and Canvas shirts, I'd assume they use Bell and Canvas hoodies, but let's see. Yep, Bell and Canvas hoodies. Bell and Canvas hoodies are good. Let's see if they're using the heavyweight hoodie in vintage black. Okay, so keep in mind in Bella there's black and vintage black. So they're using a vintage black. Well, let's just double check and make sure. I'm pretty sure there is. So the hoodie, I think it's the 3719. I got it. 3719. So this is not the one that they're using because this is not the heavyweight, but they do have vintage black and they should have a black. Yeah. So they do have, so vintage black and black are different. Vintage black obviously is the right choice for this venue and this, because it's more of a vintage black, more of like a concert type feel and vibe rather than like a shinier black. So let's see how much there is. $75. Again, they sold out small through large, and they also sold out the doubles. So they honestly probably just did little less doubles, right? And so normally what happens is they'll probably order a bunch of small, a bunch of medium, a bunch of larges, a little less XLs, and then a little less, even a little more less doubles, and then even a little less more triples. And so on let's just do easy math. They order 1,000 small, 1,000 medium, 1,000 large, maybe 700 XLs, and then 500 doubles and 300 triples. And they may do something like that. So they may break it down like that. Again, they have a lot of years to base their things on, but it seems like a lot of their stuff is sold out, which is really good for them. So this is $75. I'd say that's a good deal. This is a little bit better. It's still a little low on the print. I'd still go a little higher, but it's a good deal because they also have a sleeve print too. And so what I don't like though is this is obviously a Photoshop job because, at the very least, what they could have done is, if you can see, the clouds are basically pasted over the hood. And so what you should do is in Photoshop, it's very easy. Just cut out that part of the clouds where the hood would technically cover, and it looks like it's a little bit more, it's a little underneath. It looks a little bit more realistic. Do people care? No. Do I see it? I see that right away. So I think they need to do a little bit better job with whoever does their online images. But regardless, people are not buying it because of the online image. So just something that a little pet peeve of my own. But $75 for this hoodie for a Bell and Canvas heavyweight, I think that's a good deal. They also have a sleeve print. And so, is that "See You in the Desert"? I'm not sure what the front says. But yeah, that's a pretty good deal for that. All right, I like the fact that they put low stock alert on these. Wow, they sold out of XS. These are the zip ups, Bell and Canvas. They sold out of XS, small, medium, large, XLs, doubles, and so they only have triples left. Yeah, they only have triples left. Wow. So again, $75 normally. And this is actually a good deal because, for one, they have a lot of print locations. So, and it's a zip up. Typically, zip ups from the manufacturer are going to cost more than the regular hoodie. And so for them to keep it the same price, I can respect that. That's cool. This one is a nice one. I like this design. So like on this one, they put it just below the bottom of the hood, which I like. I like when the print, obviously it depends on the design, but for your clothing brand, you should have your print as much as possible not be blocked by the hood when someone has it down. Some shops will print way up high, and so when someone wears wears the hood down, right? They don't have the hood over their head. They just have it down. They're wearing it around. The hoodie blocks, 4 inches of the design. And so I like to have it a little bit lower. I think it's 7 inches down, 6 or 7 inches down from the neckline. But that's where you start the print so that when the hood goes down, it doesn't cover the design. I like the split by the zipper. I always like those kind of prints. Those are cool. And again, $75, good price. Okay, so they have outerwear. Let's look at some of the jackets they have. Outerwear is going to be a lot of hoodies. Sold out. Some of these for $50. That's really good. Let's see if there's a kids. That's why. So even on the kids, they're printing Bell and Canvas, which is good. It's a midweight kids hoodie in navy. Okay. Obviously got to pick up something for the kids. That's good. Cardigan. $125. I don't know if this is going to be, I don't know if that's screen printed or not. Knit cardigan. Featuring favorite, hand embroidered. So it's embroidered, yeah. Hand embroidered. Favorite icons. So again, this is where brand really comes in, because it says they're using their favorite Coachella icons. Hand embroidered on the front, back, and left sleeve. $125. I'd say that's a pretty good price. Yeah, so this is maybe a Photoshop job. I'm not sure. But if they are, they're relabeling and hand-stitching their own labels into the apparel, which is also a good touch. And so what you do is you do tearaway labels. This is mostly in shirts or hoodies. You tear away the label, and then either you re-sew it in a new label of your own, or you just screen print the label on. Most times it's just more economical to screen print or do a pad printing for the label. Okay, $125. I'd say that's cute. I mean, I'd say, for the brand, this is I'd say these are pretty good deals. It's not they're not sticking it to you on the merch. So I like that. I respect that. Belonging hoodie, $75. So again, yeah, again, you're kind of nitpicking here, but they could have photoshopped this bottom part so that it's not covering the hood. But it's a nice design. Small, medium, large. Looks like they sold out a bunch of these different designs. So that's great. If you can do that, I would call that a major success in the merch department. And so they only have XLs and doubles left. So it looks like they are good. Designed by Terrell Jones, concept by Spencer Knox. Digital artist and designer. Okay. Rooted in early influences from cartoons and manga. Yeah. It's a nice design. Also, when you're printing, just FYI, if you're designing your hoodies, you want to make sure, especially if it's going to be a white ink or color ink on a black or dark shirt, you want to make sure that these hands, it's really thin. And so as you have to make sure that the line thickness of your designs is thick enough so that the printer can print it. Because if this was a color design, they would need to base it, right? So you do the white, then you flash, and then you put the color on top. And when you do that, you need to make sure that, a lot of times printers will want you to choke, which means basically you make the underbase. If this is the line for the color, when you underbase it, printers will like it when you make it a little smaller, right? So that gives them a little leeway. For whites, you don't need to do that, but when it's color, if you can do that, that is kind of helpful. So when the line is really thin, then it's hard to do that. And so it's something that, again, Nothing against this designer, but this is where the disconnect sometimes comes from with designers and printers. The designers do a great job. They're very artistic and very, they're creative, and so it's really good. And this is a really cool design. But for printing it and transferring that to an actual screen print is different. If this is going on a card or collateral material, it's a little bit easier. But when it comes to screen printing, there's little nuances here and there that you need to make sure that your artist and the printer are in complete collaboration so that they know what they're doing. And we've had to do that before with clients, not necessarily with clothing brands, but with clients. They're working with a designer. The designer says that he has years and years of experience, which I'm sure he does. Good work, but then he sends us stuff that it doesn't translate. It doesn't make sense. And rather than call him out on it, I just say, hey, can you do this? Can you do us a favor? Can you just change this a little bit? And he'll do it. But right there and there, I know exactly he doesn't. He has a lot of experience. I have no doubt they have experience in design, creating things, and maybe doing to printed materials. But when it comes to garments and screen printing and embroidery and whatnot, it's you can tell when they don't know what they're doing. And so I'm not saying that this is the case here, but what I'm saying is just keep in mind that if you're going on screen printing, especially with colors, it's good to have the line a certain thickness so it comes out well on the shirt, on the garment. Okay. Official blanks providers, Bell and Canvas. So they actually worked out a deal, probably, and so that's great. I really like Bell and Canvas, and I think it's a great product. So no qualms there. So let's take a look at their menu structure here. All apparels, tees, outerwear, kids. Yeah, outerwear, which they call here, right? Did they call outerwear here? Let's take a look. Let's go to back to their homepage. I like that they have the email sign up right here. Email and zip code. That's good. Obviously trying to increase their email list, which is always a smart thing to do. Yeah, so they call it outerwear here. And that's another thing too, is it's make sure that your terminology is the same. So sometimes people call it outerwear, sometimes people call it fleece, sometimes people just say it's hoodies. Like in our clothing brands, we just call it hoodies. We don't call it outerwear. Outerwear in the corporate apparel world more so refers to like jackets and whatnot. But all I'm saying is you can call it what you want. Just keep it consistent, which they obviously did here, which is good. And they also have online exclusives, which is nice as well. So they have accessories. Let's take a look at their accessories. Hats. Okay. If you can, for accessories, I would put hats in there. Not many people may know that there are hats here, and a lot of people are looking for hats. And so hats in ourselves, usually I try and keep as a separate category. Tees, hoodies, pants, and then hats, and then accessories, youth and accessories. And that's because people may not know that hats are under accessories. And so the hats are always a great seller. Easy to do, good profit margins usually. So $35, that's a great price. I mean, although looks like it's screen printed. Yeah, 5-panel trucker hat. Logo art printed. Yeah, so it's printed. And so that is good. It doesn't say, it's just adjustable snapback. What I don't like is they don't have pictures of the back. So they do say a snapback here. Obviously, it's pretty standard with a snapback, but still, it's good to have those multiple angles of the hat if you can provide that on your store. Okay, desert sketchbook hat. Okay, so this one you can see they have multiple angles. I understand that the other one is probably blank on the back, but still, it's nice to have what the enclosure looks like and whatnot. And so they have Coachella on here, which is good. This is going to be embroidery. I'm sure, yeah, embroidered. And this is a trend too, is where they have this strap right here over. I was watching a video of they were at this truck show, this truck meet, and a lot of the kids were wearing hats, and they all had hats like this. So that's the in thing at the moment. You know, I forget what they call it, but I've seen more and more clients of ours, and just just around, you know, just walking around, I've seen more hats that have this rope cord, and so I know Richardson has those as well, with the rope cord. And so for $45, this is a good design. Let's see. That is pretty intricate for embroidery. That's going to look nice. See you in the desert. Yeah. Coachella on the bottom. That'll be a fun design to embroider. $45 sold out. Good deal. Good deal. I'd buy that. $45. 1999 studded patch hat. So as they say, it's probably going to be all patches. 6-panel hat, white camo featuring. Okay, since 1999. I don't know if that has any specific references, but $50. I mean, that's a good price. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but $50. Good price for what you get. There's a snap enclosure. Metal stud detailing, adjustable buckle enclosure. Yeah, so good price. Not my. I can see why this one's sold out. I think this is a good design. Embroidery is good. The design is good. So it's a good price. So I can see why it's sold out. And they have different things here in terms of charms, necklaces, bracelets, teddies, backpack, $75. Link charms, $90. There's some pretty good stuff here. I mean, they obviously know their audience, and their audience is water bottles, right? Which is good. They know their audience, and so it's let's look at this Amex exclusive. What is this? Coachella Collage Blanket Amex exclusive. This is American Express exclusive item that can be purchased on our official Coachella Amex shop. Huh. Just for kicks, let's take a look at what that is. So on this one, they did amex.coachella.com. So this is where subdomains come in. And you can create unlimited, well, depending on your hosting, you can create unlimited subdomain. And this is a perfect example of why you create a subdomain. So a subdomain basically is amex.coachella.com. Coachella.com is your main domain. And then you do amex.coachella.com as a subdomain along with shop, right? Shop.coachella.com. And so that is a great usage of the subdomain feature and creating a completely separate store with Amex. And Amex exclusive card member perk, freestanding shipping. I wonder if you have to purchase it from Amex. It's sold out. Let's see if you have to. Yeah, so they have Amex. Well, it looks like the same things. It says Amex exclusive. Just for fun, let's see if you have to actually pay with the Amex. Let's add it to the cart. This is a good time to check out the free shipping too. Let's check out. Or if they have free shipping. So they want you to put your contact information in, which obviously they need. Shipping method. Payment card. No, you don't have to pay with your Amex. Oh, maybe you do. Yeah, you have to pay with your Amex. Interesting. Maybe not, though. I mean, they have the Amex logo here. I'm not going to go in and put a credit card in, but it looks like, I don't know. I don't know if you can use a different card or not, but we personally like Amex. We're Amex centered company, and so we use a lot of Amex. But it doesn't show shipping. Yeah, well, usually they base it off area codes. Let's look at 89101. Yep. Free shipping. And so that's awesome. And that's a good thing. It's when you can, I would offer free shipping. I saw a video on where they did this study from it, and I hate paying for shipping myself personally, but Amazon kind of changed the game when it came to that because it's free shipping. So what they do is if you don't have if we do your fulfillment, we ship it on our account, which we send out a lot of stuff, so we get really, really good rates. But if you're running your own store and you want to offer free shipping, go to a shipping collective like I think it's Pirate Ship or ShipStation. I'm not sure, but they have these accounts where what they do is it's just software, and you're basically using their UPS number or USPS number, the post office number, to get preferential rates. And those rates are very good. Those rates are really good. So if you can, I would offer free shipping to your clients on your store. Now, obviously, if it's an employee store, maybe that's different. But if you're running a B2C or a D2C, right, direct to commerce, direct to the consumer, I would try and offer free shipping if you can. Obviously, you just pad the pricing of the item a little bit more. Maybe instead of $50, you make it $55, which basically covers the shipping cost. And but free shipping is good. And obviously, the tax they get you. So, and then they have an option for a discount code or gift card, which is obviously a good thing to offer as well if you can. That incentivizes people to buy from you, which is good. But yeah, I like the fact that they have free shipping. And let's look at their refund policy. And so online return. So they maybe return within 14 days from the date of shipment. And that's another thing you need to think about too, is when you're running your own online shop. And again, this doesn't include businesses that are running an employee shop or whatnot, but you have to figure out, if you're running your own fulfillment, you have to figure out who handles the returns. That's a big issue, that and the customer service. So if we handle your fulfillment, we handle all the returns and we handle all the customer service. Something's wrong with the item, something they don't like, they call us, they don't call you. But if you're doing your own fulfillment, then you have to worry about, okay, so if you're offering a 14 days return policy, where do they ship it to? Who pays for the shipping back? You have to worry about all that stuff. And so, sometimes it's not even worth for them to ship the item back, and you just ship them out a new one. And so it's all these things you need to think about when you're doing your own fulfillment on your own online store. And it's not refunds will be credited to the payment method used. So this is for a straight refund. Minus $11.50 for shipping and handling. Okay, so you're not getting the shipping and handling back, which to me seems like they're padding which is kind of high, $11.50. So it seems like they're padding the price by $11.50. And they can do that because they are straight screen printing and bulk ordering their stuff. And so if they worked out a deal with Bella and Canvas, which it sounds like they did, because they probably display on their website that Bella and Canvas is the official blank sponsor of Coachella. So they are either getting it at a deeply, deeply discounted rate or potentially even for free, right? And so when the blank doesn't cost you anything, the printing costs very, very minimal, right? Because if you're printing 3,000, 5,000 items, which I'm sure they are, at the very least, maybe 2,000. At the very minimum, probably 2,000. If they're printing 2,000 items, the printing is not going to be very much. And so they can they can really capitalize on their merch because they're getting the blanks from Bella and Canvas. They're getting the blanks for either free or very, very cheap or a discounted price for sure. I can't see Bella and Canvas giving it for free with that many items, but who knows? So, especially when Coachella is probably taking out their label, the Bella and Canvas label, and reprinting it or rebranding it as their own with their own label. But who knows? And so, they got a good deal going on here, and so they can really capitalize on the merch profit margins that they're getting here. And so, but why not? They've built a great brand, and they deserve it. So, I do like the fact that they have this notify me when available, and email me when available. That's always a good thing. For one, you capture their email address, and then two, you also can potentially get a sale later down the road when you guys get this item back in stock. If you do, who knows if you do or not. But yeah, let's look at their collections. Collections are a good thing. So collections are also good for SEO, right? A collection is basically a collection of single items that you group together. And so tees is a collection, hoodies are a collection, the 2026 lineup is a collection, 2025 is a collection, 2027 is a collection. And so that's also good for SEO. If you want to get a good video on SEO and e-commerce SEO, you can watch the interview that I did with Keval Shaw. Absolutely great SEO e-com expert, and so he gave a lot of good tips on that. But you can also do specific artists, right? And so let's look at their collaborations, because I thought they would do more collaborations with their artists, but maybe not. Suede plus Coachella lineup tee. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce it. I'm not sure if that's even an artist. I'm not familiar. Loop and Coachella link. Gap. Okay, Gap, I know. Gap and Coachella hoodie. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so they're printing it on a Gap shirt or Gap hoodie, right? And this is going to be a limited edition, so I like the fear of missing out, the FOMO. Made for the lineup and everything after. Gap iconic art logo, remix festival season, made in soft, breathable French terry. So they also have a Gap hoodie house and Coachella merchandise store. Okay. So this is $100. That's the thing. When you do collabs, obviously it's going to be a little bit more. Judging by the price, though, I'm sure collabs are always a little bit more intricate, right? There's a lot more details that are involved than rather just printing your own merch and you not having to answer to anyone else. But this one, obviously, they had to collab with with Gap, and so that's gonna be a higher price. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what you have to do when you collab with that. Okay. Are we still yeah, we're in collaborations. Yeah. Snoozy. I think those are becoming a little bit more popular. Again, this is very, very tailored to the Coachella audience, and I think they did a great job of picking merch and swag that will appeal to their audience, that they know their audience is going to love, and obviously judging by the way a lot of the items were sold out, or a lot of the sizes of the items are sold out, whoever does the merchandising is good. They know what they're doing. They had obviously years to get it right, but this is a great example of knowing your audience, getting deals with blank providers, in this case, Bell and Canvas, knowing what sizes to do, what designs to do, what collabs to do. And let's just see. I'm sure they had to make money. How much money did Coachella make in merch sales? Let's take a look. 15 million. Oh, well, at Coachella, Justin Bieber's brand, who we're going to do a merch shop audit on his store as well. $50 million in merchandise. But again, that's there. Right? 5 million over the sales in weekend one. $5 million. Okay, so let's take a look at this article. PPAI, new record set for most branded merch sold at Coachella. Yeah, Justin Bieber sold $50 million worth of branded merch. That's awesome. And you know what? Why not? He deserves it, right? I mean, Justin Bieber sold $5 million worth of merch at Coachella, breaks record in one weekend. That's awesome. Good for him. Good for him. So, you know, I know merch sometimes gets a little looked over in terms of a revenue stream, right? It's, you know, dealing with, and we're going to do some case studies on restaurants and whatnot. But, you know, again, Justin Bieber has also a merch centered audience. And so that also helps. But I know clubs and nightclubs and day clubs and restaurants that are doing quite well on merch. They're not doing $50 million, but, you know, they're definitely adding a good revenue stream for their company. And so I think this was a great store. I don't see any qualms about it. You know, they have the brown, I assume, for something to do with the desert theme, because a lot of their stuff is also sea in the desert. And even picking things like, let's look at their homepage, even picking things like the colors, right? They don't offer these designs in a variety of different colors. It's basically one color and you either choose it or you don't, right? Whether that's black, whether that's brown, whether that's white. And so let's look at the shirts. You know, baby blue. So they offer, and the good thing about this kind of, because when you look at it online, a lot of shirts, a lot of companies will offer the same design, but on a lot of different colors. So you can choose whether it's black, white, blue, red, green, brown, yellow, orange. And so but this way, I like the fact that they covered a lot of different colors, right? So this looks to be a vintage black here. And so let's see if I'm right. Doesn't really say. Oh, yeah, vintage black right here. Yeah, So the offer in vintage black, I assume white, and I think one is vintage white, looks like, you know, a brown, and then they have a blue as a little splash of color. And so, you know, this is where, again, I would offer maybe even like a pink, but that's obviously also going to mostly appeal to women. And so that may cut off half of your potential buyers. But I like the pastels. So obviously, again, you know, whoever does their designs and their overall merch strategy, you know, is kudos to them. They did a great job. The store is nice. The return policy is good. The pricing is great. The pricing is great because I think they were smart and did a sponsorship and or collaboration with Bell and Canvas, which is smart. That's a good thing to do because you get it for, again, probably a deeply discounted rate. And so that helps with keeping the prices low in terms of the merch and what the customer is going to end up paying. So great store, great merch items. Obviously they did very well. Collaborations were good. Their footer, right? So they do their other stuff. Privacy policy, make sure you guys have that on your online stores. Terms of service, accessibility statement, California privacy notice, and refund policy. Make sure you put your refund policy straight on your, make it easily available for your customers to know what your return or refund policy is. That's important. And they also did a collab with Amex as well. And so that's a, judging by what it sounds like they also had a Amex tent or a shop at Coachella. That's what it sounds like. Again, I wasn't there, but that would be a smart way too, because now you're selling merch at multiple different locations. And so, plus I'm sure Amex was probably promoting it on their end as well, which helps get more eyeballs and whatnot onto the event and the merch itself. So anything you can do to help promote your stuff through collaborators of yours or different sponsorship or partners of yours is always a good thing as well. So great store, great merch shop audit. I think, I don't know if I should start rating these, but I give this one pretty high scores. You know, this is a, maybe we should do like the Dave Portnoy thing with pizza, but yeah, this is a great store. If I had to rate it just for fun, I mean, out of 10, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I don't know, 9.6 or 7. I mean, it's a good store, and it's the collection of things, right? It's their design. It's their, by design, I mean the design of the store, the merchandise designs. They've obviously targeted, they've designed merch that obviously effectively targets their audience because they sold all that stuff. Collaborations with American Express, Bell and Canvas, with the different artists. I thought they would have had more collaborations with that. Maybe I would have done that more. But maybe the artist didn't want to do the collaboration. So, you know, a lot of times it takes time to deal, and it needs to be kind of feel like a win-win situation. And so, but yeah, and that's, you know, free shipping, 14-day return policy. I mean, it's a good store. And so if you want a good store to look at, to get ideas from, not in terms of the designs of the actual merch items itself, but, you know, to see how things are run and how you can choose and pick little things that maybe be able to help out your store and your shop, you know, take a look at this one. And so thanks again for watching. I really like this shop. Hopefully I wish all shops could be like this. Obviously they did a good job. So yeah. It's great to see when these companies and this brand that's not merch central, right? They're not centrally focused on merch. They're concerts, right? And so I'm sure the majority of their money comes from the ticket sales and whatnot, and food and vendors and all that stuff. But obviously they could add a good revenue stream with merch, and I think that's exactly what they did. And so kudos to them. It's a great deal, and I wish all the businesses and companies could do the exact same thing. So again, thanks you for watching this merch shop audit, and we'll probably do Justin Bieber next, since he made $15 million off of his merch. So watch out for that one. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.